My name is Taiga Onishi. I'm from Japan, and I'm currently studying in the University of Edinburgh, studying veterinary medicine, and I'm a first year. My interest in veterinary medicine was somewhat broad when I was little. The only reason I'm here still like today is simply because I just love animals, like all kinds, especially my cat. Going into high school, I wasn't exactly sure what I was going to do, honestly. Like I did have my main option was definitely going to something animal related, but it still left like I didn't know if I was going to be a vet. Obviously, vet is a hard degree, and I knew it. So I was like, as a backup, I was thinking of like, zoological studies, animal behavior studies. It was a bit interesting for me because, I had two very distinct interests. The other one was about international relations and politics. So although I did always somewhat have, animals as a priority, I did have like some somewhat really different subjects in mind as well. Honestly, IB really does help with your first year, even being like in such a demanding degree, honestly, like in a medical degree. Just knowing yourself that you've been through the 2 years of hardship, you've been through all the suffering, and you went through all the exams, just gives you like a really strong sense of confidence. And the second part, I would say, is like purely the academic requirements that the IB give you. I'd still say it was really high. They require you to like keep going. Right now, I'm experiencing like a lot of, we have several presentations to go through, we have essays to write, and having that done already in high school, knowing how to reference everything, knowing how to express yourself, like simple things like just formatting an essay, they really help. Just doing those tasks, just having being experienced with them from early years of high school does really help coming into university. Even if it's not the same topic necessarily, like for my extended essay I wrote on history and not like biology or chemistry, but just the general structure can be really similar. Just your general skills on writing the essay is definitely transferable. And yeah, all of those really do help. Everyone does have different strength and everyone has different means of studying. But if I would give like a universal advice to everyone, the simplest advice would just be to keep doing what you think works to you. If you're just starting IB, then I recommend you to explore different ways of studying. Try studying yourself, studying with your buddy, studying through visuals, audio, just reading, writing yourself. If you're autistic, obviously go autistic. And just find a studying style that matches you. And then once you find it, just stick to it. And IB's more about continuous effort, I'd say. You just have to keep going. And once you know your style, kind of, even roughly if you know it, it just gets so much better. Personally, like I really enjoy working with people. And I had a study buddy in IB that took exactly the same subjects as me. And like we were just pretty much studying together all the time. And for me, that worked so nicely. It really helped me get through all the tasks. And obviously it had like a lot of emotional support aspects into it. So summing up, obviously, like as an advice, just find some studying style that works for you and stick to it. But also don't stress yourself too much as well. You can't always go full on. You can't always put 110% into everything. Just make sure to keep it balanced all the way through. Grew up in an international environment my entire life, and I do speak Japanese and English, but like those are the only two languages I can fluently speak in. And obviously, the first thought in my mind was like that I wanted to go to some English speaking university, so I wouldn't have to go through the hassle of learning a new language at the university. So yeah, that was the first reason choosing like in a country with English being their official language. But that still left like like there's different countries like Singapore or the US or the UK, and I particularly chose UK especially because well, UK as a country is such well known for their biology and like medical degrees, especially in terms of vet. Uh, like I said, growing up in an international environment, I wanted to get a degree that would help me work anywhere in the world, and UK was the best place because, uh, well, first of all, the vet degree here is so recognizable, so well known over the world, and no matter where you go, You do probably have to retake a test for that country, but it just has a credibility to your skills graduating here. And the best thing about getting a UK vet license is that in some places it's actually applicable to some Commonwealth countries. So out of all the places where you can get a vet degree, for me at least, I thought UK would be the best option to broaden or widen my perspective to the world and just have different opportunity for me after I graduate. And specifically for Edinburgh, because UK obviously has like 10 different vet schools and they're all really good. I did apply to four schools because UCAS allows four medical universities, and I applied to four different vet unis. Edinburgh specifically, because of COVID, I didn't really have a chance to visit the campus or see the city, so I couldn't really decide upon that. But Edinburgh, at least my parents visited before, and I heard like how good the city is from them. And honestly, the first thought process was simply just looking at like the rankings and just like how people rate the universities, and Edinburgh was really, really high up there. And obviously, there's some bits of financial parts as well, like how much I can afford the uni, how like scholarships that's available and things. I actually didn't have many other options because I applied to four UK unis. Turns out I got into Edinburgh, but I got rejected by the other three universities. So, Edinburgh was my first choice as well. So it was pretty much like a no thought. Time management can be really, really stressful. I'd be really helped, honestly, with time management because you're constantly overloaded with so much assignments and assessment that's coming up, and you just have to keep all of them in mind. But yeah, in universities, it's really tough. I'm still honestly, I'll be honest, I'm still the first year and I'm still struggling to like fully balance it out well. Keeping like a simple checklist really helps for me. Like even right now with my exams approaching like within a month, I just have a checklist of what to do first. And I would often just merge it with the calendar and the timetable I have, so I just clearly know which task to do first and which task to like expect coming up. You just have to simply go one by one rather than just overwhelming yourself with all the tasks out there. I am doing a fairly good job balancing work and life, I'd say, because every Friday evening, Friday afternoon, or like every weekend, I would at least try to make some time to socialize. Like in the UK, every Friday evening, I would go out to a pub with my friends and like, just have some drinks and things. And those do help just keeping up the motivation, preventing myself from burning out. My first semester was almost fully, not fully, but somewhat online because of COVID. It just, one thing I struggled in the first semester was to just keep up with all the lectures because some days I would literally have like my timetable will be filled with lectures from 9 to 5 p.m. Keeping up with those lectures while doing your assignments that's coming up and keeping yourself focused in an online lecture where you're just sitting in front of the computer for like, 9 hours a day. That can be pretty tough. Now it's like, we're back in in-person teaching and it does get a bit better, but still, like right now I'm writing an essay which is due this Friday, but I still have like tomorrow I think I have like 4 or 5 lectures. Each lecture is usually like 50 minutes, but it takes usually like an hour. So I need to be on campus for 5 hours and focus on the lecture and at the same time get through with all the assessments, and those things can really be tough. We don't really have like a concept of major and minor. We just go, at least for vets, we just have your vet degree and you just have everything inside it, especially because it just has so much content. But I would say one that fascinated me the most would be animal body in semester one, which dealt with the anatomy of the animal. Because those things, I'm pretty sure you would never have an opportunity to learn like in high school. I did learn some bits of, like a muscle formation or like how those things work, like the basic things in high school in IB, but being here at university, you really go much more depth in it. It was honestly a bit shocking to be on in a university, and the first week we went to the campus, we went to the dissection room and we started dissecting a dog's head like straight up. It was somewhat shocking, obviously, but it's also fascinating, and just having being able to have that practical knowledge right as you start university, having that professional, all the well-known professors teaching you, having to see it with your own eyes, deal it with your own hands, were really interesting. Especially in this university, my campus is far off from the city and the accommodation that I'm staying with. So every morning I would, wake up early. Sometimes I prefer to study in the morning, so I would sleep early and wake up like semester one. I would sometimes wake up like at 5 and go to a library in the morning and study first, and then get on a bus like at 8. And we always have a lecture from 9. So, and like, when we have a practical, like tomorrow, I think my day looks like being on campus from 9, and I have a tutorial from 9 to 10, and I have like 3 lectures coming up after. And then I'll probably just stay in the vet school on campus, just studying between the lectures. And then I have a practical again in the afternoon. And yeah, most of the time, it often just becomes a 9 to 5 on campus, doing practicals, preparing for your next lecture, and all those sorts. And then I'll be back here like around 6. In my free time, I would often just watch like those simple documentaries about cats and felines. Like, they would always have the world's big cats and things. And, they're cute. It was less academic for me, but more of like, just getting some time off and just enjoying my time. And sometimes I would just watch like, I think it was called Our Planet, like on Netflix, those documentaries about wildlife really did fascinate me. It's just fun to watch, it's most things, especially if it's your interest. I feel like rather than focusing on like what's really needed or it's really academic or what teaches you the most, obviously those are important, but like in my opinion, what interests you the most and what's more enjoyable, doesn't exhaust you, and what you can do like in your free time willingly would be the best thing to do. Like, I didn't really read a lot of books, but like if that is your passion, honestly, go for it. Like find like a fun book related to your passion. If it's vets, like, there's obviously so many textbooks out there. There's stories like written from a vet, vet perspective. There's autobibliography from a vet. They would like, oh, sorry, biography from a vet. They would talk about their life, about vets. There is a really famous show about a Scottish vet, I think, as well. It's kind of old, but there's so many resources out there. It just find something that interests you. For me, it was just like a normal cat feline documentary, and just watch it in your free time and just keep yourself engaged and passionate about it. My goal coming into the vet school was to, well, obviously, first of all, is to be a vet, like graduate and be a vet. But my ultimate goal was to work in a wildlife sector and be a part of the wildlife conservation or wildlife research. Right now, what I'm doing is like I'm a committee member for the DICVET Wildlife Conservation Society. DICVET is the name of the vet school that I'm in right now. I have like so many opportunities to attend like seminars, webinars, talk from like those well-known vets around the world that's currently working with like what my passion is, which is wildlife conservation, and they'll give you all the advices, all the stories, and it's just fascinating. It's honestly mind blowing, like how much they're doing, and then, like how passionate all of them are, and how encouraging they are to students as well. And yeah, I'm not entirely sure like which specific species I want to go to. I'm planning to just discover it as I go through the vet school because they teach you about every species. But yeah, broadly speaking, from my personal preference and like background, at the moment I'm kind of I do wish to work in wildlife conservation up somewhere in like a cold climate. Like, those cold animals really do fascinate me. Like, let's say polar bears or penguins or snow leopards especially. They're so cute. That's a strong motivator for me. It will obviously be hard, and I don't know how challenging it will be, but like I can tell myself with confidence that I am very passionate towards it. So I guess I'll just keep on going and hope to be one of those vets in the field, working with other vets and other people from other profession, working on the single goal of like, conserving those wildlife.